Okay, we'll call this regular meeting in the corporation of the township of Brunel, Lindhoff and Raglan to order the 7th day of December 2022 at 7:01 p.m. Roll call, Wayne Banks,
Yes.
Councilor Capel, here, Councilor Keller,
Here.
Councilor Coyle.
Present.
Okay. We have the adoption of the agenda. Resolution 2022-7-12. Whoa, start over. 2022-12-07. That the council of the corporation of the township of Brunel, Lindhoff and Raglan adopt the agenda as amended to include item 8.4 vandalism report and 8.5 donation requests, and one item enclosed under section 239 to subsection B. Can I have a mover on that? Councilor Keller, seconded by Councilor Banks. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Those opposed? Okay, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest tonight on the agenda?
No, not right.
No, okay, we will move forward. We have delegations. Francis Carter, read the closure of Schroeder Road, and she, I believe, is on Zoom.
I'm here.
Are you going to speak?
No, I've submitted my letter and I
Okay.
believe Derek spoke for us.
Okay. Okay, and we have Derek and Dahlia.
Yeah, that's not right.
Okay. Shem, read the closure of Schroeder Road. And you have a request form filed to speak before the council.
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to take the chair?
You should hear that one.
Yes. And you have 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not really do justice.
Oh, 10 and 5, were you 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 might do.
Yeah.
The certain not 5.
Okay,
Hey, you guys, good evening, councilors, Mayor Yan and, Mr. Keller. I met you. Yes, you did. And, the board of, I should say, councilors here. My name is Derek Shem, and, with me is, Mr. Sochi. And, we've got concerns about the new Cellar Road and the Schroeder closure. I would like to be able to highlight and discuss with you tonight. These are not, minor issues. These are significant issues that we think by coming forward tonight and speak to you in person. This is the best platform for me to actually speak to you on, where I can see your faces, you can see mine, and see how I'm going to go through the proceedings tonight. Okay, so we are presently on Burns Trail, and our addresses are listed there. And at least in my email to you, I mentioned 3 aspects of the concern. The concern about convenience or lack of it, the concern about safety, and the concern about lack of transparency, which I know has cropped up with this council over the previous year. Because I've read some of the minutes, and it's not something that I would be part of if I was a council on this board. But it does exist, and it has cropped its ugly head again with this issue. Okay, so with the issue of trying, by the way, Mr. David, so she is with me tonight, and Fran Carter, she's not here, but she's the neighbor of Mr. Toshi. And then at the very end of the road of Burns Trail is Annette Sullivan of the Shermer family. And I think some of you might know the family because they've been here for, I would say, at least 3 decades. We all pay our taxes, guys. We support the economy here. We support the businesses here. We support the local contractors here whenever we can find them. And we are good stewards of the environment. We protect, why not? Because we live here. We are good stewards of the environment. So I even go to church here. So what a punch in the gut when we got the letter from you guys I would say you guys, I don't mean in a disrespectful way. When we got the letter dated September 28th, to tell us that you're going to close Crowder and simultaneously open, Sully. We were shocked to our core. I had to shake my head in disbelief that this would be going on without our consultation, without, so they just left us in the dark on this. Because we've always relied on Crowder as our main access into Burns, as our main access. No, it wasn't a perfect road. It wasn't at all. I mean, there were times when I had to call in the office and say, could you send your works people over to fix the pothole? So we know that you were maintaining the road. But we sort of overlooked that. Because we knew that it was, apart from everything else, it was a road that was straight, relatively straight, relatively flat, and didn't have any slope, as the new Sully Road does. So we were able, we could contend with that, and we could put up with that. But now to get that letter from you guys saying that the Schroeder Road has been closed out permanently, it shook me to the core as to why you would do that to us without even consulting us. So, in issues of convenience, this is where we are on Burns Trail. And I don't know if you, Jason, I don't know if you can follow my finger. This is, where are we? I need you to be up here somewhere. We're on this side. Yeah, move that this way. Yeah. All right. This is Country Road 515. Sullivan Lake. Where did I hear that word before? 515. Well, come if you want to move it. While I point my finger, come down here, and this will be your Schroeder right there. Okay, and we would go through Schroeder, take some turns, right, to go up to Burns Street, right there. Pretty simple access. But now what we are faced with, guys, is just the opposite of simple. It's complex and it's silly to get, if you're asking, it's a silly way of getting out of Burns Street. It's a silly way of getting out of the area because it involves dips and turns. It involves a very infamous slope, which I'm going to discuss in a minute, right? And it involves lack of signage on that road, the Sully Road. So, there we go. If you can bring us back to where Burns is. So we would take a very sharp turn, right, on that slope. This is now part of Sully. It was part of Schroeder at one time, but now it's been designated as part of Sully. We take a sharp slope up, and this is the slope, as I said. It's not an easy thing to navigate when the weather is bad. And I noted in my my email to you guys, we don't know from day to day whether or not we're going to be able to have enough traction to go up there. And just recently, Mr. Associate Fitzgerald was unable to get up there. And this was when we had the first significant snowfall. I called into the office, I made it known to you guys that we're having difficulty already. And we're not even in the winter months yet, guys. I can foresee that we're going to have trouble with that incline. So this is where the incline is, right up there. It's always been a troublesome spot, even when it was called Schroeder. We always had trouble with that slope. The neighbors on top, the Martins, have always had trouble with it. Sometimes you see them park at the bottom there because they were unable to make it up that slope. And after repeated attempts, not one or repeated attempts, they were not able to get up there. Can you imagine that there was an emergency happening? An emergency, guy, where life and limb are at stake here. They're not able to, the emergency vehicle will not be able to make it down the slope or make it back up. Think about that. Think of the lawsuit you guys would be facing if that were to happen. Okay, so that is a very tricky slope. I would ask that the council really consider regrading that slope so that it is a little flatter for us to navigate, because as you leave Burns Street, you are making a sharp left. There's no space for momentum for the car. You have to put it in low gear, that you will not be able to make it, even on the best of condition. Even making a sharp turn up that slope. And I estimate, as a math teacher guy, former math teacher, I estimate that that slope is at an elevation of about 40 degrees. So it's 40 degrees elevation, and looking down is the 40-degree depression, angle of depression. So we're looking at a significant slope here. All right. So I want to be able to just stress the importance of looking at that slope and saying, is this slope going to give us trouble in the future? And I think it will. All right. So we know now that Schroeder is completely closed off, completely. And we were officially informed by that letter, dated September the 28th, guys. Think about that. This is an insult to us living on Burns Road. The letter was dated September the 28th. And we have an inkling, we only have an inkling as to why Schroeder would have been closed off. Just an inkling. There was no explanation in the letter. It's a terse letter. I can read, and I'm here not to point fingers at anyone in particular. I'm not here to blame anyone in particular. But the letter states, let me read it here. Please be aware that effective October 7, a portion of Schroeder will be closed permanently. This is the section where along the river where flooding regularly occurs. Let me just stop it here. What flooding, guys? What are you talking about flooding? There is flooding, yes. We don't disagree with that statement. There is flooding, but it's not to the significant level that we can't cross the road. We can't navigate across Schroeder. We have always been able to that. There has only been 2 times, as a matter of fact, Ms. Saunders indicated in her email that in the 40 years that she's been here, there's only been 2 occasions where they were not able to come through Schroeder. It was impassable. I know one of those 2 years happened to be 2019 when I came in. When I came in 2017. So it was one of those 2 years. I remember that time because when I went out there, where that bridge is, where that railing is, the water was on to my knee. And I knew I couldn't navigate through it. So if that was one of those 2 years that Ms. Solon is referring to, we're not talking about significant flooding, guys. We're able to live with that. We know that the water is going to recede sometime, and it did. It did. So to use that as an excuse to close Schroeder is the boggles the mind, guys. There's something here at play that you're not telling us, and we'll get back to that in a few short minutes. But coming back to the issue of convenience, you can see that when we leave with the new access to the road now, when we leave, we've got that tricky slope. We'll have to go all the way down to Summit proper, catch Wingle, take a right turn. If you have to go to the mill, you have to take a right turn again to go back up to the mailbox. We can move it back up a little bit. Yeah, go back up to the mailbox right there. A very circular route, guys, and it's irritating as hell to have to do that day in, day out. Even when we're going out of the neighborhood, we have to navigate that circular route. Why should anybody be subject to this kind of imposition? I certainly didn't move up here till I have to be stressed out like this, just going out of the neighborhood and going through that silly road called Study. Okay. There have been issues recently where delivery drivers, they're not able to find us. Delivery drivers were not able because they did not know the route to get into Burns Trail, the new route. It doesn't show up on the GPS, obviously, because it's a new road, right? It doesn't show up on the GPS. It doesn't show up in any tracking system. It doesn't show up on MapQuest, Google Maps, whatever. So they're coming along, they're thinking that, oh, I can get through Schroeder to go to Burns, only to be accosted, right? Only to be accosted by the 2 barriers. And they're saying, scratching your head, where do I go? There are no detour signs. No detour signs, guys, to tell them where they can go to get the access back into Burns Trail. How frustrating it is for them, let alone for us, to know that our parcels are not, we are in the gift-giving season. to know that the parcel cannot be delivered on time. In the last 2 weeks, 3 parcels have been rerouted. Right, to Barris Bay, in a holding depot. And we had to take the time, effort, right, and the money to go down there, going through study, to go down there to retrieve our parcel. How inconvenient that is, right? And this is happening almost every week in, week out. People are making internet purchases, hoping that the delivery will be made at a certain time and not finding the delivery made. Because, yes, Mayor?
We have used 12 minutes, so I'll give you a minute to sum up.
Yes, yeah, okay, so. In the letter, we get an inkling of why Schroeder Road was closed. We get an inkling, not a direct echo, but an inkling why it was closed. And it's because maybe the Southern Road was going to be built. What justified what? Was the closing of Schroeder justified the opening of study? Or was the opening of study justifying the closing of Schroeder? We don't know. Because nobody had told us until this letter here, guys. Once again, it's not the point fingers that they didn't want. Okay, so they said in the process of creating a new road to the south, this road will be named so that will be their new route to our residents. To me, not knowing what was happening in the discussion to build study, what was happening in the discussion to even to allow Schroeder, to me that is inexcusable. Because we are taxpayers. In this part of the country, we pay our taxes on time and in full. And you need to deserve better treatment than what you guys are giving us. You need to come clean with why you actually have closed off Schroeder. Because it's not clear in the letter you gave us. It was just a 2-paragraph letter. Not enough, guys. Come clean with us on this. Okay.
I thank you. We will be discussing this tonight. We won't be making a decision when you're here, but we will be in contact with you.
Yeah.
And have an answer for you, okay?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
I would ask that you recognize Mr.
Yes,
Chelsea for moving.
Did you want to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Mayor, you go down here, yeah, yeah, for sure. Because it's just demonstrated. I have photographs. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councilors. I moved here 7 days from now, 4 years ago. And December 14th, moved to that house, beautiful house on 581 Venice Trail. I'm an electrician by trade, construction person, and I know of these like dead zones between construction sites and roadways. You don't want to fall down there because no one wants to claim responsibility for that area. So when I moved here, it was a rush deal. Wanted to get out of a bad situation, found a beautiful home and a beautiful environment to be in. And this is what my dream has been. So my issue is basically when I moved down that, came down that road, there was, and there still isn't on Schroeder Road, a no exit sign at the entrance. Now, I've already said this. I've given everything I've said, come in and said, explained, these are save face kind of things. There's no entrance sign right there stating that this road, Schroeder, has no other exit. So I bought this house thinking that there was another exit off Schroeder Road. It certainly looked like it continued up. I have no idea where it went, really. Subsequently, I found out that A, it's closed. It doesn't have an exit. It's a no exit road. As I said, it still hasn't. So I'm under the impression that the city deems it as an exit. There's another exit. So those blocks really should be gone unless you put a sign up in the state that this is Palmer Road, the old Palmer Road. I know this. There was a bridge there. Right here, there's a culvert right here. I have the pictures. Why I sent it, I'm gonna explain it to you. It's completely overgrown with weeds, okay? And this whole area right here gets potholes and it's uneven because of years of lack of maintenance. Problem number one, sign. Problem number two, improper maintenance of this roadway. The barrier right here that I canoed over because the only way to my house, because there was no sign saying that this is a flooded periodically or seasonally. So 2019, I took a canoe from here to my house. And I went back. I don't never want to do that again. Because it's dangerous. But I had to do it for my wife and my family. My brother-in-law died this year. We had ambulance come to this place several times. They came up and taken him to the hospitals in the area. My concern is this is a 90-degree followed by an immediate slope it's a blind corner. And you, like, during the day, fine, you can't see anything. It's all, you're gonna come up on, you're doing 50, if you're a parcel driver and you wanna come down this road. One guy stopped and went back and said, oh, it looked like an ATV road. I think that's kind of a little way off. Anyway, you gotta come down this road. There's no sign saying there's a 90 coming. There's no sign that there's a definitive grade change for a truck. Right here, there's a pole right at this corner here with a 13,800 volt cable on it. There's two guide wires going up and one towards the turn. We always came this way in turn. Everybody turns this way. There's no problem with that post when you're coming up this way. But when you're coming down, and I clean this entire area of weeds, it's completely flat. You're not gonna hit a ditch. You're not gonna hit a barrier. You're gonna hit the poles with the guide wire. When you come down and if you lost control, God forbid you don't. So there's that. There's a stream that crosses Sully right here. And it's just after the emergency road number, Creekville driveway. When this property was bought, after the property owners for this, I'm assuming solving a problem. Okay, there's a gully there. There's a slope going down just past their driveway, and there's a culvert there. All it has is reflectors. When I drive on the roads around here, I know there's signs everywhere. There's a lot of places there could be signs, for sure. In this slope, which is far less significant than this slope, there are two culverts provided. One at the driveway that's provided because they don't have a driveway because it's blocked off right now. It's sort of blocked off, so this landowner doesn't have their driveway. So one was provided by the city. Because why would you pay to put a driveway in when you already had a perfectly good one? The city paid for that. And they put a culvert in it for a very shallow grade. And it's perfect. You should put a culvert, gravel in. And then there's another culvert on the other side to go up what is an ATV road. But a culvert was provided. There are 5 exits off of Sully Road from Willie to the 90. The 6. There's 5, maybe 6. In any case, there's several done. There's no culvert right here. This is just flat and it's just eroding constantly. You guys came around and cleaned up this side here. And within one major rainfall down here, it's full up with sand. Like this is maintenance. If I did this kind of work as an electrician in my field, my insurance would stop insuring me. I don't know who the underwriter is, but if I knew about this other than the taxpayer not going to need underwriter, you got insurance policies for this. This is an accident waiting to happen. I agree with Mr. Shin. There's introduced all kinds of new possibilities for going off the road right here. I understand the reasoning for why you want to add an additional road, but why you want to take this road out has 2. There's only what's the old, like, I don't know the Latin for it, but who benefits? This is like these are high tax rate properties. They all have water access. I get it. It's all good, and I don't mind it. It's just that if you're gonna do this, then at least change this transition, make it safer, make the road safer, put these signs up. Because right now, and then the whole idea that we closed the road, we didn't put a detour sign up. What? Who does that? Who does that? I mean, even Cannon Park and folks that wouldn't build this in my house recently. I had to just take a trip all the way to Oakville and back stay there overnight to get them to sign documents that I didn't want to have sent to my house now. So I didn't want another additional 5 or 2 weeks to get that parcel, that legal document. So I went, drove to Oakville, signed those documents and mailed it there, rather than have it purelated or whatever it needs to send to the wrong address. So there's issues involved here, and you know what? You know, this guy Elon, he said this thing the other day. He said, transparency and inclusivity lead to trust. Now, I don't even want to I don't want to be here. I don't want to be able to have to discuss this because I shouldn't have to. These are things that you should see if you walk the road. And I fortunately walked the road a lot. And I enjoyed it, you know. I understand, I would want this too. If I lived right here, I would want that. If I was the city and I needed more revenue, I would want this. I want to do it right. And let everybody know, this road, it would have been made more sense to go like that, diagonally, up, just continue Burns Trail up and it's not on this steep incline. I get it. That really is a steep road. It's a paved steep road, and there are other roads around like that. But why do you want to introduce these problems when you don't have to? It needs to be done. You're going to have a problem right here. You're going to have a problem right here, if not elsewhere. There needs to be a culvert, like one was provided elsewhere in this whole project. And the other thing, one other thing. I walked that road last year before it was closed during the winter. The area just past this, which going across the street, comes down into the swampy area here. It comes up, it goes up, and it goes above. You're now going the other way. That entire area was covered in water and ice, completely. The whole road all the way across. I didn't know that it was at least needing the water towards that pitch. The other thing is the culvert that they put in there is already a third filled with sand. What's going to happen? It's not going to get rid of the water the way you want. And now we're going to flood right there. Who cares about this? Like twice every 50 years? It floods over here too, right? We know this, that the 515 comes around here, goes right here, over the bridge, the new bridge. And because I was here, I could hear the trucks and cars going through the water that was over the road on 515. They're gonna close that. You're just taking away options. Fix the road. Let us know. Let us be involved. I mean, I found out that the road flooded from, like I said in my first letter, from the hardware store personnel that was chatting about all the repairs I was doing at the house. And I said, oh, I live down here. Oh, don't you know this road flooded? I said, what? It flooded in 2017, didn't it? Then it flooded in 2019. And every year I've seen that water going down and down, down. We're not getting nearly as much water. Will it happen again? Likely. You know, but there are more problems. Do other people face with problems like this in other roads? Certainly. And they gotta be cautious. But I think this could have been handled a little better. And I want it to turn out well for everybody. Really. Like to me, you know, you can't get in your driveway sometimes. Well, you can't get out. That happens everywhere, even in Oakville. So, I mean, it'll happen here too. Whether that was Schroeder Road, wasn't that Sully Road didn't exist, it still happens. That will become impassable, whether it's snow or water. So I'm just worried. My concerns are a bunch of things on the roadway and that corner, because I don't want to hit that folks. I don't want my wife to hit it. I don't want anybody to hit it. There are 6 properties that need 6 property owners, taxpayers that use this as the primary entrance to their place. You know, I just want it to turn out well for everybody. And it's not any burden on anybody. Thank you for that.
Yes, you're finished then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We thank you for your concerns. And we definitely will be addressing this issue. And
No worries. I thank you for
Okay.
getting the first one.
Thank you. Thank you for hopefully we'll be in touch about this again. Maybe sometime in the future, because I've got a few more things to talk about, but.
I think it will be fine. I'm sure. But anyways, thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Make sure I will with you.
And I believe there's an Annette soon here on Zoom maybe.
She wants to unmute.
We have your letter that you asked us to address the questions. And we will be addressing those questions when we make our decision with all the rest of the people that have gave us concerns, okay? And you will hear. from
Thank
us.
you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, so we will refer that discussion to later in the meeting. We have the adoption of the minutes. That we, the council of the township of Brunel, Dock and Raglan, hereby adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of November 2nd, 2022, and the inaugural meeting of November 16, 2022, as presented. Could I get a mover and a seconder on that? Moved by Councillor Banks, seconded by Councillor Keller. Any discussions, any errors, any omissions? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. Reports on direction received, the strong mayor's resolution, a letter of support regarding a resolution from the township of Mattawa. Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the township of Brunel, Lindog and Raglan here supports the town of Mattawa resolution motion 22-88 dated October 11th, 2022, read the Strong Mayor's Building Homes Act, and further the council directs staff to provide a copy of this resolution of support to the Premier of Ontario, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Standing Committee on Heritage, Infrastructure and Cultural Policy, Renfrew Nipissing Pembroke MP, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario and all municipalities in Ontario. Can I get a mover on that? Moved by Councillor Cobell, seconded by Councillor Quad. Any discussion? No. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed? There. We have some correspondence here. Is there any correspondence that anyone would like pulled out before we accept it for a discussion? Yes, Councilor Keller.
I think we should probably support, one of the correspondence items related to the More Homes Built Faster Act.
Okay,
I know there's a number of them there, there's, we can pick any one.
okay. So do you want the county of Prince Edward or?
Yeah,
Okay, so the county of Prince Edward, anything else? If not, I would like to see us support the township of Lanark Highlands with the Ontario Wildlife Damage Compensation. So, anything else before we pass the resolution? Okay, the resolution reads that we, the council of the corporation of the township of Brunel, Lindog and Raglan hereby accept the correspondence is circulated, and it'll be with the exception of the county of Prince Edward and the township of Lanark Highlands. Can I get a mover on that? Okay, Councillor Copwell, seconded by Councillor Keller. Okay. Any more discussion? I'll call for the vote for. Yes. Counselor. Counselor Caldwell, seconded by Counselor Claude. And all those in favor?
Yes.
And those opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, so we'll go to the discussion on the county of Prince Edward.
Yeah, so. I guess I introduced the idea of supporting the motion. I know there's. Approximately over a dozen here for sure. I've heard a lot of talk from municipalities about how Bill 23 infringes on municipalities, their rights and their process when it comes to expansion of building homes faster. So I know part of the part of the bill, also includes that, part of growth is usually growth pays for growth. And by taking away development fees, et cetera, as part of that, that takes away the ability of municipalities to pay for that growth. And I guess we should also be concerned about, the effects on the environment, farmland, et cetera, right? Urban forests, whatever it may be, so.
Okay, so do we have a resolution to support that? To the next meeting. Oh, we'll bring it to the next meeting, okay, thank you. Anyone else wanted to speak on that? No, okay, so they will bring it to the next meeting. And the township of Lanark Highlands. That is for wildlife claims, and the ministry provides us with $50 to investigate those claims, and that cost is more than $50 to us. So this is to lobby the government to up that fee for us. So any other discussion on that?
What are you hoping to raise it to?
I don't know what their thought
It doesn't
is.
say it here.
No. I'm sure they will investigate and see what the average cost is, and then. Any other comments or questions? Okay, you will bring that to the next meeting. Okay, so new business. So we have a shoreline road allowance closure for fall. Mulberry and Jody McComb. We have a resolution that the council for the corporation of the township of Brunel and Dock and Raglan hereby give tentative approval to the applicant over Mulberry and McComb for the closure of the shoreline road allowance as submitted. Can I get a move on that? Councilor Banks, seconder. Councilor Feller. Any discussion? We have the applications and
Was that road allowance a good session at one time or something? That is, well, rather like,
it'd be a shoreline.
Yeah, so that did the concession, right?
The concession is.
Usually that's why there's something there.
A shoreline road allowance was created where a road allowance runs up to water, and if it ends in the water and then it starts on the other side, they put
Takes us
shoreline road.
towards road.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
So the only concern I have is just that one section on Letterkenny, if you look at the map. So you see your road. Shoreline road allowance, like how close is that to the road before you hit the road allowance? So.
I'm not sure if I made you there.
that's,
I'm not sure on this map if it details that specifically, but as this is a tentative approval, they will be bringing you draft survey back and we will have a better view of that.
Cause I did print out one off the computer just to see, and it's just.
That's a little section you're talking about up there.
It looks like it almost pretty well
Yeah.
goes to the road.
Yeah, how close to the 66 foot?
Mhm.
You're in the-
Yeah,
where the
like
if you
66
look
foot
there,
is,
it's pretty close.
looking at them.
Once they get a survey done on it, you will see where it actually is in relation to the road there, so then we would have a better look at it.
That's just that little piece there, it's kind of swampy right by the country road.
Yeah, that little cut.
Well, how long ago was that when we took a look at this concession that runs down to the hardwood?
That was when we were first on council. That was back in 2018, I think, or.
And in most cases, we didn't sell the shoreline road allowance.
But generally,
But when they're not,
When it's that close,
yeah, I'm not sure.
So at this point in time, it would be tentative, and then council still has the ability.
Yeah.
They'll bring a draft survey.
Yep.
And then if there's any changes necessary before that survey is registered, we can adopt it.
So just a question, so let's say that section, you see which one I'm looking at, one that's closest to the Letterkenny Road. I mean, is it possible to keep that part and sell them the
Just for access. to
curb
the
one?
lake.
Yeah.
That's what, because people do skip across it.
Yeah, like, I mean.
People drop their canoes in there sometimes.
yeah, but once the survey is there, we can always look at it too, like, depending on how many approaches. Or how close it comes to the road, we may want to keep a little bit for road widening should we need to, or for ditching. So maybe in one spot, they wouldn't necessarily get 66 feet.
But that's what I'm saying, just, you know, don't sell them the whole section. I'm not saying no to all of it.
And I guess we'll know better once we
Yes.
have the survey.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So. Okay.
They've taken another lot.
Well, that allowance has to be 66 feet, right?
To sell,
No, the allowance around it.
Yeah.
That's 66, so it's gonna be right up to the other 66 or off. That's
33.
right, 33%, it's gonna be very close,
That's not enough.
because there's not much distance from the road to the lake.
That's just one, yeah. It's
It's really close.
Access.
yeah. Okay, any further discussion?
No.
Okay, I'll call for the vote, those in favor?
yes,
Yeah,
Okay, those opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, review of restrictions regarding former councils with the and Fugere. The resolution passed. In October, I believe it was. Saying that. The restrictions to municipal property will be reviewed as, when the new council come in. So, I don't know what council's feelings are on that. If you wish to end that, restriction. It's open for discussion.
Did you want to read what's on this?
Well, this was in the minutes, so
Yeah.
everyone knows what it was.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, those were the original.
yeah, and it was a restriction to municipal properties that's in effect now, so.
how long has it been since that took place?
There was in January and. Whether was in February, I believe.
It's almost a year.
It's almost,
Yeah.
actually, the restrictions have been, I guess, over a year,
Yes,
so, yeah.
I don't find any harm looking,
Never really see a problem either.
no,
No, it's been over a year, and all of these penalties were issued. There was many other things that kind of were relevant to the time and point on council. And to me, it's kind of, we're past a lot of those now. Yeah,
It's time to
And-
move on.
Yeah, makes
And I
sense.
myself don't have a problem with it. I mean, if there's trouble in the future, we have ways and means of dealing with that. But for the time being, I think it's fine.
I wouldn't expect there to be problems in that, honestly.
So, okay, so can we have a resolution for that effect then?
Effective immediately.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say so.
You refresh.
Okay, the resolution reads, whereas council, the corporation of Brunel, Lindop, and Ragland requested that former councilors in Woodbury and Licky resign and impose restrictions on them after both were found to yeah. Contravening the Occupational Health and Safety Act, the council staff relations policy and the code of conduct. And whereas council agreed to reconsider the restrictions after the newly elected council takes office. Now therefore be it resolved that the restrictions imposed on former councilors Woodruff and Licky shall be lifted effective immediately. Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote. Those in favor?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I guess we should need move second. A mover, Councillor Watt, seconded by Councillor Banks. Okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay, now I'll call for the vote. Those in favor?
yes,
Those against? Motion is carried. As severance.
Yeah, 2 severances, right? The applications.
One severance application.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 persons, one application, 2 persons.
Okay, the resolution reads that the council, the corporation of the township of Brunel and Dr. Ragland approved the land seconds application number B 112-22-1 and B 113-22-2 from Felix and Anita Fernandez for the creation of 2 new lots with the condition that all conditions as listed by the county record planning report concerning this development of land are met. Can I get a number on that? Okay, Councilor Campbell, seconded by Councilor Banks. Any discussion? I don't have any issues with it, you know. It's out on 515. Any comments and concerns?
No.
Okay, I will call for the vote. All those in favor?
yes,
All those opposed? Motion is carried.
They're just building lots, I guess. I think that's what it's all kind of vacant. I looked at it briefly.
Yeah. Okay, so 8, we have a vandalism report. And the resolution reads the council, the corporation of the township of Brunel, Lindop, and Ragland accept this report for information purposes only. Moved by Councilor Keller, seconded by Councilor Hopel. Okay, we have a staff report. And are you going to speak to that, Jordan?
Yes, Mayor, I will speak on words here.
Okay, thank you. As my report reads, the municipality has been subject to 2 acts of vandalism recently. The first incident occurred between October 31st and November 4th. And it involved the 2016 Gage tractor. The tractor was out for some roadside mowing on Homestead Road. It was parked there from 31st to the 4th. When returned to the operator, warmed the machine up to continue cutting. And after starting off, he came to an abrupt stop. The tractor was not started. The operator immediately checked the fuel and found that it was drained down. And there was a residue on the fuel filler neck. He did not attempt to do anything further. The tractor was moved off the roadway and the OPP was notified as we suspected possible damage. Once the OPP started the report, we made arrangements to get the tractor off the road further and to a repair shop. So it was moved to the Case dealership in Redford. Our insurance company was notified of what was going on. And the mechanics assessed the machine. And they found 3 different things were vandalized on it. The fuel, hydraulic oil, and the actual engine oil. So what resulted in stopping the tractor, what the mechanics figured was fine sand in the oil pan blocked the screen for the oil pump. And in turn seized the bearings on the crankshaft. Both were destroyed. Actually, one bearing flew right off the crankshaft. Piston to bang off the head of the engine, and it destroyed the piston and the head. So basically, it destroyed the entire engine. Done. The mechanic that I was speaking with said to rebuild the engine is not really a good option. And that it would be easier just to put a new engine in it. So they quoted that out along with draining all the fluids and checking over everything else. The quote came back just over $67,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Does the insurance company feel about that?
Not so happy. So we've talked to our representatives, a claim was started. It went to another individual who passed it on to an adjuster. And the adjuster is going out, I think tomorrow to look at it. He's taking fuel samples and oil samples. And we'll hear from it from there on what his take is on the situation. What else is in here? He said it's likely that that amount of repair is required for the tractor to be written off. We just got it.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we paid for.
It's exactly what we did. Anyway, so more to come on this. The second act was started at the Brudenell landfill. An individual or individuals broke into the site attendant's warming shack and removed the propane heater, along with some tools, some oil. They also removed the fire extinguisher from the loader. The incident again was reported to the OPP when it was noticed on November 12th by the administration. Since this event, there has been some surveillance installed at the sites, as well as we changed the locks, the doors, as there were keys out there. The equipment padlocks have also been replaced, and we are also presently looking at replacing the propane heater. So we'll get that back. Questions?
The cost to do all that?
The propane heater?
No, the whole thing. Surveillance.
We're putting surveillance, council requested surveillance for this facility as well as the Quadrant facility, the waste sites, The locks, the straight off alone was $2,000. The locks were around 600. Propane heaters. You never pulled me out of the last time, you just pop them up, you know, around $1,500.
Yeah. Does it run off of cell service or?
The surveillance,
Yeah. or is it-
no, it links to your phone. So there's a people that are checking.
There's enough without a booster?
Quad bell would work. Palmer wouldn't, Brunel would be touch and go.
Cause it's, the services. In and out, right?
Yeah.
At the dump?
I'm not sure for the,
For sure.
to link it, what it would cost for the cell service.
I just wonder if you're gonna have to put a booster in because the service comes and goes, right?
Yeah,
The
no,
only reason I know it's like this, because I'm at the house there all the time.
Yeah.
driving around.
yeah,
So it comes and goes on my phone.
the surveillance at the dumps are your standby units, they report on themselves.
It's okay.
And then there's a Wi-Fi connection straight to your phone.
So nothing, nothing, so when you have.
If there's, if we spot something,
Notification.
yeah. For the buildings themselves, we have obviously, we have internet. connection.
Yeah. I was thinking more about the remote service.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of challenged, the cell service
It's,
challenge,
it's, no,
yeah,
yeah.
it's hard. and- Well, it's good. Good to put together.
Yeah. The best we can do for now.
Yeah, exactly. I
Well,
mean,
it's good for reasons other than just, that is safety of the employees as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions
No,
or
thanks.
discussion? Okay. I will call for the vote, those in favor? Okay, those opposed? Motion carried.
Does the grader have a lock on it? Like on the field tank?
Yes, there's actually several locks on most of the equipment. Everything's locked up.
I hope whoever did it doesn't pay taxes in the township, because they're just,
They're,
they're killing themselves.
Exactly.
I hope it comes from outside.
yeah, I know.
Whoever did it, because it's terrible to think that.
Yeah.
You're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
You're stealing from yourself.
Exactly.
And
Sad.
then they wonder why our taxes go up.
No, it's just, I really hope it's.
Oh, no, but I mean-
Not local.
When our insurance has to pay out, and then they up
It's
our
the same.
rates,
Yeah, it's the same.
you know,
it's both sides.
Everybody
that's
pays.
right, and everybody pays.
Like CRC donation request. Resolution reads the council, the corporation. Approve the donation of $100 to the CRC food and toy drive. Did I get a mover on that? Councillor Capell, seconded by Councillor Watt. Any questions or discussion?
No, I'm sure.
I think they've asked for this most years, I believe the council's approved it. So,
And they're a big part of all these programs that are going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They have lots of value, they bring a lot of value.
Okay, then I get a vote on that. All those in favor?
yes,
Those opposed? None? Okay, carry. Financial report. That the council of the corporation of the township of Bluebell and Rock and Raglan accept the financial report as presented. Can I get a mover on that? Councillor Keller, seconded by Councillor Banks. And we have the report by department. So, all in all, we're
looks good.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for anything better, really.
What was planned so large in the roads department that you didn't use the money?
That is our road construction projects, and a lot of those bills haven't been put into the computer system yet to do.
So it hasn't caught up yet. I was just, it's a huge variance, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Somebody that the planning, there's something missing or something, okay.
It looks a little different.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then some of it we budgeted and we couldn't complete those projects this year.
Yes.
And you'll notice too with the fire department, so we did purchase the second fire truck this year that wasn't budgeted for, but we do have plans to, we put that in the future.
It's coming from reserve.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
reserves,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
balance.
Okay.
Once we get the year end stuff.
Yeah, sort
Yeah, a
of.
little bit better.
Year end is calendar year.
Yes. That's good. Yeah. Any other questions or comments?
It's good.
I will call for the vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Those against? Motion carried. Bylaws, we have a development. Agreement. And the resolution reads that we, the council of the corporation of the township of Blue Mountain, Dock and Raglan, hereby adopts bylaw 2022-63, being a bylaw to execute a development agreement between the corporation of the township of Blue Mountain, Dock and Ronnie D. Woodard. Could I get a motion on that? Or mover? Counselor Banks, seconder, Counselor Keller. Any discussion, any questions? Believe this is a result of that severance he did.
It's the last condition of the severance for completed everything. That was the zoning amendment before, and
Yes. And he's familiar with the steps. Okay, any more questions or concerns? Could I call for the vote? Those in favor?
Yes.
Those against? None. Carried. The next is a bylaw to authorize application to the OILC. That we, the council of the corporation of the township of Blue Mountain, Dock and Raglan, hereby adopts bylaw number 2022-63. Being a bylaw to authorize certain capital works of the corporation of the township of Blue Mountain, Dock and Raglan, the municipality, to authorize the submission of an application to Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation, OILC, for financing of such capital works, to authorize temporary borrowing from OILC to meet expenditures in connection with such capital works, and to authorize long-term borrowing for such capital works through the issue of debentures to OILC.
it's 61, 62.
That's what I wanted at 63. So it's bylaw number 2022-64. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? This is for to finance our grader. That was the condition when we purchased it, that we would finance it. The OILC, we've done that in the past for several things and it works out well.
Financing 197,000 over 5 years.
Okay, any more questions or concerns? Call for the vote. Do I have a mover? Non-mover, we'll call for the vote. Those in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, non-movers.
What's that?
Might not have got a mover for that. Keep bouncing around here. Okay, could I get a mover for the pass that? Councilor Banks. Councilor Quad. Okay. We've had the discussion. It's all, let's do the vote. Those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? None. It's carried. Okay. Now we have to go into a closed session. So the resolution reads that we, the council of the corporation of the township.
Just question, before we go into close, are we discussing shoulder before close or after close?
I think we're gonna deal with some of it in close. Cause there's some identifiable people in there we need to deal with. Okay. That we, the council corporation of the township of Green Mountain, Dock and Raglan, go into closed session pursuant to the municipal act 2001, section 239, for the purposes of subsection E, 2 items regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, and 1 item in subsection B, personal matter about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Can I get a mover on that, please? Councilor Banks, second, Councilor Quat. Those in favor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Geez, Blaine looks different there.
Yeah.
Just thought about that. Yeah, he does. I don't know if it's his collar and what he's wearing. So all our codes are judges go on colored paper. This is for your notes, so any notes during codes must be done on the.
Okay. That the council of the corporation, the township of Blue now, do I report before this resolution? No. That the council of the corporation, the township of Blue now, Linda and Raglan come out of the closed session at 9:25 p.m. Moved by Councilor Keller, seconded by Councilor Quad. Okay. I'll take a vote on that. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, while we're in closed. We dealt with 2 items regarding litigation or potential litigation. And personal matter about an identifiable individual, including municipal and other employees. Okay, so while we were in closed, we, as a result of a discussion, we have a resolution that the council of the corporation of the township of Blue Mountain, Dock and Raglan directs staff to arrange for the no exit and directional access signage to Burns Trail for posting on Schroeder Road. In addition, checkerboard directional arrows in both directions and incline warning signage for trucks on Sully Road, and staff will prepare a report to address all concerns brought forward to the January 4th council meeting. Any discussion on, or first I need to move it. Councilor Paul, Councilor Keller. Any discussion on this message or resolution?
No.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in
Yeah.
favor?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have a confirmation bylaw. That we, the council of the township of Blue Mountain, Dock and Raglan, hereby adopts bylaw 2022-65, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the December 7th, 2022 regular meeting of council. Can I have a mover? Councilor Banks. Seconder. Councilor Capel. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? No, carried. that this meeting adjourns at 9:28 PM. I need a mover. Councillor Keller.